Welcome to HDTV. You're now rocking with your boy. Imagine. Hold on, y'all. Fair you said. Fair you said. Fair you said. Fair you said.
Of PFTPM. We are doing our post-draft interview series with general managers throughout the NFL. We're going to broadly.
All right, sorry about that. In 2017, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones tried to take out Commissioner Roger Goodell. It was obvious as it was happening. Nearly 5 years later, a prominent businessman Jones tried to recruit for the effort has added some more details to the story. Appearing last month for an interview with Jason Whitlock, or I like to call Coonlock, via sportscasting.com, former Papa John's CEO John Snyder, Snyder claimed that Jones and Washington owner Dan Snyder wanted Snyder to try to get Goodell fired in 2017, specifically for the manner in which Goodell was handling the national anthem controversy. Jones also was upset about the suspension of running back Ezekiel Elliott. Snyder and Jones hate Goodell, Snyder said. I said, no, this is not my job to fire your commissioner. He works for you. Remember, Goodell is a coward and he is incompetent, and he's just lucky. Jerry Jones, the owner of the Cowboys, Indra Nooyi, former CEO with PepsiCo, and Dan Snyder all called me, several other folks, about Goodell's conduct and the way he was handling things. Jones and Dan Snyder wanted Goodell fired. This is like the 1st of November, end of October. They called and said, you need to take this guy out. You're the number one sponsor of the league as far as notoriety and acceptance and association. Everybody loves you. They love Peyton Manning, a Papa John's franchisee and sponsor. We hate Goodell. Snyder also claims during the interview that Snyder called Goodell a drunk, and yet we pay him $50 million a year. I said, no, this is not my job to fire your commissioner. Snyder said, he works for you. I just sell pizzas. I have a family of small businesses that, probably 35% of our spends NFL. It's down 20%. This behavior of not addressing the issue to the owners and player satisfaction is causing me and my franchisees a lot of problem. And this is going on now for 2 seasons. I had a free shot from 2 owners to go after Goodell personally. I didn't go after him in a vicious, venomous way. I just said, hey, grow up, be a leader, and fix the problem so my small business owners stop taking it on the chin. Snyder did indeed do that on November 1st, 2017, in a conference call regarding the company's poor earnings for the third quarter of the year. Snyder said of Goodell, good or bad, leadership starts at the top, and this is an example of poor leadership. This should have been nipped in the bud a year and a half ago. As reported at the time, some believe Jones put Snyder up to it. Indeed, he did, as Snyder's more recent comments make perfectly clear. Two days after Snyder criticized Goodell in 2017, Jones had a chance to distance himself from the remarks. Instead, Jones said this: I am a joint owner of the businesses of 120 Papa John's stores here in Texas, and John Snyder is one of the great Americans. Things got ugly for Jones. Some owners talked about initiating a procedure to force Jones to sell the Cowboys. Eventually, Jones backed off. Goodell got a contract extension that Jones had been trying to block. Snyder stepped down as CEO of Papa John's. Jones eventually paid more than $2 million for legal fees incurred as a result of litigation threats Jones had made. Life in the NFL moved on. The incident earned a chapter in Playmakers. That chapter would have been a lot spicier if it had included the more recent comments from Snyder, given the NFL's current scrutiny of Snyder. Snyder's comments may provide the foundation for a chapter in Playmakers too. So yeah, this is how it is. This is why Dallas is always punished. Like, people think, oh, Dallas is getting, well, Dallas also is ran by an incompetent owner. But Dallas basically, Roger Goodell doesn't like Jerry. Jerry doesn't like him. Jerry feels like when they suspended Ezekiel Elliott that year, they had a chance to get to the playoffs and potentially a Super Bowl. So he still blames Roger Goodell for that when all the things came back as negative to Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott didn't do anything to that woman. We even knew the woman was lying. When we heard the story, it was BS. They sent a lady in there, one of the head investigators of like all domestic cases all domestic violent cases or sexual assault cases. She's the person that's in charge, and she just told Roger Goodell and everybody, look, Ezekiel Elliott's innocent. This girl is lying. And then they pushed her off the case and they put somebody else on the case just to get Ezekiel Elliott because Roger Goodell doesn't like Jerry Jones. So he wanted to stick it to Jerry Jones that year. And that's why Jerry Jones has been pissed off ever since. He really does not like Goodell. He doesn't. You know, people are going to so this is, you got to understand, things happen behind the scenes. This whole sports is controlled. They pick who they love, they pick who they like. Sometimes some players make themselves liked or make themselves valuable, where they're now marketed as the best player on the team or one of the best players out there. And this has been going on forever. So Jerry Jones is pissed off at him, and so is Snyder, because see, Snyder and Jerry Jones are buddies. They're like best friends. But see, the NFL, it has been wiping Snyder's, a lot of his case under the rug because they don't want that to show anything negative to the NFL. It's not that Roger Goodell's trying to help Snyder. He doesn't like Snyder. He's just trying to keep everything under wraps. And all this is allegedly, by the way. He's trying to keep things under wraps because he knows or has a feeling that this will hurt the NFL brand. So all they do is protect that brand. But this is what I want to understand. Why isn't this story put out everywhere? But yet, if this has something to do with a person who is falsely accused of sexual assault, now they just got civil suits pending. But yet, if it was them, they shit would have been all out in the area, all out in the news, mainstream. But because we dealing with the pink folk and the owners, they're not going to do that to their own, right? Jerry Jones was dealing with a paternity case where a woman claims that he's her father and that he paid off the mother. They had a deal and everything, but she was saying, look, I'm not. That's my dad, and she dropped the case to get money. She just wants to get the DNA test to prove it. But they're going to sweep that under the rug or they're going to knock her off. All this allegedly, by the way. So, but yeah, man, this is fake and phony NFL. Just some news to tell y'all about, man. But it's the same, man. Like I said, man, the NFL ain't nothing but a dirty game, just like the NBA. The only difference is the NBA, they hide it better than the NFL. The NFL don't care. The NFL's like, look, we're the NFL. You gonna kiss our ass. So thank y'all for listening. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share this. Hit that notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if y'all love what y'all hear, y'all can donate to the page by going to my description box, hitting the Cash App link. That'll take you to my Cash App. And you guys can donate whatever your heart's desire. Now you guys can do a super chat or a super leave. A super thanks. You can do a super chat or super thanks, guys. So thank you for listening. We out. Deezy.